Well, Ali Khamenei saw off multiple crises over the decades as Iran's supreme leader. Remaining defiant to the very end, the 86-year-old dominated Iran since taking over as leader for life in 1989, following the death of revolutionary founder Ayatollah Ruhollah Khamenei. The death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei marks the end of an era in the Iranian landscape as well as the global politics. Take a look at this next report for more details.
The Iranian Revolution is regarded as one of the most important geopolitical events of the 20th century. It set the template for a new form of politics and ushered in a deeply conservative theocratic state that exists to this day. Before Ayatollah Khamenei's revolution transformed the Iranian society, Iran was a very different world. For close to 40 years, Iran was ruled by Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, the Shah of Iran, from 1941 to 1979. Shah led the country through a series of sweeping changes. Mohammad Reza was the eldest son of Reza Shah Pahlavi, an army officer who became the ruler of Iran and founder of the Pahlavi dynasty in 1925. The autocracy of Shah rule was amplified after the 1953 coup, in which the United States and the United Kingdom helped restore him to power, after a 2-year standoff with the parliament forced him to flee. Mohammad Reza imposed aggressive economic development policies, including the modernization program known as the White Revolution. The program included land reform, nationalization of forests, sale of state-owned enterprises to the private sector, a profit-sharing plan for industrial workers, and the formation of a literacy corps to eradicate illiteracy in rural areas. The White Revolution also granted Iranian women the right to vote, increased women's minimum legal marriage age to 18, and improved women's legal rights in divorce and child custody matters. The White Revolution gained the Shah new support from the rural poor and the urban working class, but he did face continuing political criticism from those who felt that the reforms did not go far, and religious criticism from those who believed westernization to be antithetical to Islam. All these reforms were opposed by Iran's clergy, in particular Ayatollah Khamenei. Opposing the Shah and the White Revolution, Khamenei led the 1963 uprising. Khomeiни's activities eventually led to his exile to Iraq in 1964. Widespread dissatisfaction among the lower classes, merchants and students led to the growth of support for Ayatollah Ruhollah Khamenei, a religious leader living in exile in Paris. Rioting in Iran's major cities brought down 4 successive governments as the Iranian Revolution gained momentum. The program overturned the traditional power structures in the country, heightening tensions that led to Mohammad Reza's downfall. On January 16, 1979, the Shah left the country and Khamenei assumed control. The 1979 revolution succeeded because 3 critical power centers aligned: the people, the clergy, and the bazaar merchants united against the monarchy. This coalition was built through years of organizing, through labor unions, through the economic leverage of the bazaar. When those institutions moved together, the monarchy fell, following the March 1979 Islamic public referendum, in which 98% approved the shift to an Islamic republic. The new government began drafting the present-day constitution of an Islamic Republic of Iran. Ayatollah Khamenei emerged as the supreme leader of Iran. With religious fervor running high, Khamenei consolidated his authority and set out to transform Iran into a religious state. In November 1979, the United States imposed its first sanctions on Iran, justified by the seizure of American hostages held at the US Embassy in Tehran. In December 1979, a new Iranian constitution was approved, naming Khamenei as Iran's political and religious leader for life. Under his rule, Iranian women were denied equal rights and required to wear a veil. Western culture was banned and traditional Islamic laws were reinstated. Thousands of political dissidents were executed during his decade of rule. After the Ayatollah Khamenei died in 1989, his successor, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was chosen by the Assembly of Experts the next day. Gradual democratization began in Iran in the early 1990s, culminating in a free election in 1997. Khamenei established the system of rule by the Shiite Muslim clerics that secured his place in the eyes of hardliners as the unquestionable authority below only that of God. At the same time, Khamenei built the paramilitary Revolutionary Guard into the dominant force in Iran's military and internal politics. Its international arm, the Quds Force, pieced together the axis of resistance, the collection of pro-Iranian proxies stretching from Yemen to Lebanon, and that for years gave Iran considerable power across the region. The first major threat to Khamenei's grip was the reform movement that advocated for giving greater power to elected officials. Something Khamenei's hardline supporters feared would lead to dismantling the Islamic Republic's system. The Revolutionary Guard and Iran's other security agencies crushed waves of protests that followed the failure of the reform movement. In 2009, huge nationwide protests erupted over allegations of vote rigging. Under the weight of sanctions, economic protests broke out in 2017 and in 2019. More nationwide protests broke out in 2022 over the death of Mahsa Amini, after police detained her for not wearing her mandatory headscarf properly. Hundreds were killed in crackdowns on the protests and hundreds more arrested. The successive protests showed the strains in Iran's theocratic system and laid bare widespread resentment of clerical rule, corruption, and economic troubles.